All right, here I am at the Beaumont Avenue railroad crossing in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Now this railroad crossing right here is another rather neat crossing owned by the Norfolk Southern Charlotte District, and this crossing right here lies pretty much in the middle of Control Point Beaumont, and the previous crossing I toured was at Magnolia Street at Control Point Magnolia. Now this is at Beaumont Avenue, or Fairview Avenue, past this point right here, but I'm just going to call it Beaumont Avenue for the sake of the fact that it's at Control Point Beaumont. And other than this interesting layout, this crossing features some alright equipment, but also some history along it as well. So I guess all that said, I'll explain as I go on, so let's get to it. So for the first signal, this has a Safe Train double-sided base, and here's the emergency information, and the dot number is 716626K. And for the gate mechanism, this has an Invencies rail gate mechanism. And the gate features some NEG LED gate lights and a wind guard on this mast. Actually, are these LED or incandescent? LED, all right. LED gate lights. And for the lights on this one, this has two pairs of Safetran 12x20-inch incandescent lights, all sitting on a Safetran light bracket. You can see. And for a bell on this one, this has a Siemens low tone electronic bell. I believe it's a low tone.
It is.
But yeah.
Now, these were 12x20-inch lights, and that just had a flat top.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
or 12x24-inch, excuse me.
All right.
12x24-inch lights you used to have.
Yeah. For some reason. So that was the first signal, as he just said. The old signals that these replaced in the past were quite interesting. First off, with the gate mechanism, the gate mechanism had this weird like bolt-on design, and I believe it was either like a Transport Products or like an older Safetran gate mech that it replaced in the sometime in the past. And the signal also used to have no bell, but they since tore that out and put a bell on this one. So that's that for you. So yeah, that right there was the first signal. Pretty neat stuff. Now let's go ahead and move on to the second signal. So,
which is basically the exact same thing.
Which is pretty much the exact same thing minus one change, which I'll explain in a moment. So for the second signal, which is similar to the first, this one has another Safetran double-sided base, as you can see. And here's the emergency information once again. Up here, yep, there it is. And for the gate mechanism, this has another Invencies rail gate mechanism. And the gate features some more NEG LED gate lights and a wind guard on the mast. And for the lights, this has two more pairs of Safetran 12x20-inch incandescent lights sitting on a Safetran light bracket. Now these ones actually replaced some Safetran 8-inch lights in the past. And this signal has no bell on it, but the old signal back then had a Safetran mechanical bell and another one of those weird gate mechanisms that looked like either an older Safetran or Transport Products. Quite interesting.
So you can see the way the lights are angled or meant to compensate for how the road is curved like that.
Yep, you can see how they're angled due to the weird curvy road. So yeah, and that is, so with that said, that was all the equipment to show for here for Beaumont/Fairview Avenue. Here's the relay case.
It's actually right there.
Well, it's actually right there. That right there is for the switch and lubricators and stuff that are here at the control point. And before I show the track views, I want to show you guys something. So over here is the abandoned industrial lead that comes off the Charlotte district. And if you guys recognize this crossing, I've actually reviewed these specific ones on my Exploring Abandoned Railroad Crossing series. You can see the two crossbucks there and the crossbucks over there. And further down, there's an abandoned crossing with like actual equipment that I'm going to tour here in a bit for y'all, because it's cool.
And the strange thing about those is that NS still puts the newer dot tags on those crossbucks, so NS still owns the line.
Yeah, so NS still does technically own the lines, kind of like how CN, you know, does their things. They had this abandoned branch line that came off of Flint just west of the yard, but they still use that part as storage, even though they cut it off at like Linden Road and turned the rest into the Genesee Valley Trail. It was quite weird. So yeah, I guess all that said, let's go to take a look at the track view. So down there is heading south towards the first crossover at Control Point Beaumont, and this eventually heads towards Magnolia Street Railroad Crossing at CP Magnolia, and this will eventually head towards the hang yard and the automatics that are there, and it'll eventually continue south all the way towards Atlanta. And down there is heading north towards pretty much the rest of the Control Point Beaumont, where it turns into one track.
Now this The line that branches off to the right there, that's the NSW line that goes to Columbia, and it singles up right there. That leads towards Charlotte.
Okay, yep, and that pretty much leads towards Charlotte. You can see the abandoned what was I going to say, industry lead, and you can see they kind of completely cut off the tracks right there, and there's a little Dorf signal there too.
Yeah, they used to before they did that. There was actually cars in storage right here.
Huh, interesting. Wonder how they got those out. Well, probably did before they cut up the tracks. But yeah, that's pretty much the north track view. Quite interesting, pretty cool curve that turns into one track, and once again, here's the NSW line. And yeah, I guess all that said, this was the Beaumont / Fairview Avenue railroad crossing here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. So yeah, I guess all that said, over and out.